What's up, everybody? I'm John Middlekauff. You know what I need you to do. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We got content for days reacting to every NFL game all the time, every single day. Subscribe, like the videos. Let's go. I haven't had a chance to watch yet. I watched last year, and Maria loved Cole's Cash, Kirk Cousins. It was just refreshing. It actually really made him very likable. And this year, having Joe Burrow on and Jared Goff, like I'm gonna watch over sometime over the next couple weeks. But obviously, what was going to come out if Cousins was involved was surely he was going to be asked. And when I say asked, obviously producers play a role in what you talk about. But one of the conversations, like, what the hell happened? Like, how did you sign with this team? And then they drafted the Atlanta Falcons. And to give you the Cliff Note version, I'm sure a lot of you have seen this clip go viral on Instagram, on Twitter, on TikTok. Cousins essentially said, if I knew that they were going to draft a quarterback, I probably just would have stayed with Minnesota, who was offering a lot less money, even though they had been very candid. We were going to take a quarterback, and everyone kind of knew. It felt like in February that they loved J.J. McCarthy. Remember, they were getting two first-round picks, which we thought they were going to move way up. They ended up just waiting, and he essentially fell to them. But Cousins said, like, listen, I just would have stayed. And I do wonder this. Two things. One, Kirk, they offered you $90 million. No one blames you for taking that money. I've been saying this forever. When the Atlanta Falcons signed Cousins, they did not have the intention of drafting Michael Penix, number 8 overall. They did not. They fell in love with Cousins because mid-March free agency happens. They signed Cousins. Then they fell in love with Penix over the next 4 or 5 weeks. If they knew they were going to draft Michael Penix, and listen, there was not a person alive in the National Football League that would have said Michael Penix wasn't going to be there at 8. Some things you're like, I don't know exactly where J.J. McCarthy is going to go. We all knew in some order. We knew Caleb was going 1, and then was it going to be Jaden or Drake May, but we knew that was going to be the top 3. Michael Penix was never going in the top 10. And I was a Michael Penix fan. Really was. No different than Bo Nix. Bo Nix was never going in the top 10. That was never going to happen. So they would have known if they had run their operation like most teams, this guy was going to be there. And this was a plug and play, ready to go, 24-year-old, 25-year-old quarterback that had played in college for like a fucking decade. You don't sign Cousins for $90 million to draft this guy. That's on the organization. I don't blame Cousins for taking the money. He loves his money, rightfully so. He's in the business of football. But it's easy to play hindsight. I would have made a different decision. No one had any clue because the Falcons had no freaking clue when they paid you that money. I also, and I know it's easy to say, I don't think Minnesota wanted him anymore. Because Cousins wasn't going to sign for like $15, $20 million. Clearly, just look how much money the Falcons gave him. He was also coming off a torn Achilles. So if you look at the people that run the Minnesota Vikings, especially their GM, Google his background. It's in a little world called finance. And if there was ever a time to basically say, we're selling off this stock, we've had a good run here, we're out of this business, it was when a guy in his mid to late 30s who can't move to begin with rips his Achilles. So I know he can say, it's like, well, they had offered me. The coach was saying that. The coach wanted you to stay. And there have been lots of reports. Did the organization want you to stay? Did the GM want you to stay? I have a hard time seeing that. I really do. And listen, maybe Questy would dispute this. Maybe the owner would dispute this. I'm kind of calling BS. Would they have taken him back for $15, $20 million? Sure. But, like, were they comfortable giving a guy off a torn Achilles $35, $40 million, even if they were going to sign him to a one-year deal? I have a hard time seeing that. I really do. And listen, this whole situation got weird. Still on the team. I doubt he's on the team week 1, but it's like, look at his landing spots now. There's a financial element to this. There's also just an element at this current time. Is Cousins done? Like, is Cousins shot? And I think that's a fair question. And the pushback is, well, usually you're better off year 2 off the Achilles in any sport. I would have a hard time making a move for Kirk Cousins unless I was really desperate. But listen, I don't blame him at all for taking the insane amount of money to the Falcons, who were kind of right for doing it. They were completely desperate at the time too. But if they knew what they were doing, they just would have signed like a $10 million bridge quarterback, taken Penix, and Penix would have started week one, and that guy would have been his backup. Like Case Keenum, Flacco, like that type, Gardner Minshew, that type of player, not give the money that they gave to Cousins.
All right, folks, this is insane. For the first time ever, we've got a full-blown all-women's boxing mega event going down in New York City. 2 title fights, same night. Let's go. And if you're like me and love the action, DraftKings Sportsbook is where it's at. We're talking Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano. The trilogy fight. Absolute legends. Katie's putting together her super lightweight belt on the line. And you know Serrano's bringing the heat. But don't sleep on the co-main event. Alicia the Bomb Bumgardner, explosive power, is taken on the undefeated WBA interim champ, Jennifer Miranda. That one's going to be fireworks, baby. And if you've never bet with DraftKings, it's super simple. Just pick who you think's going to win. It's that easy. And check this out. If you're new to DraftKings, throw down $5 and boom, you get $150 in bonus bets instantly. How wild is that? Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Use the promo code JOHN, that's JOHN. That's code JOHN for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-78-9-777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsible on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas. 21 plus or eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
And last but not least, and I've been thinking this for a while, because I'm sure like many of you love football, see a lot of stuff on college football. And forever it was like the recruiter of the year. This guy's a great recruiter. Like this assistant coach, dominant recruiter. And for those of us that like know a lot of people in the business, you'll text someone, you're like, yeah, he's not a great coach, but holy shit, he's great with recruiting. And working at Fresno State, I saw some guys who were just elite recruiters, saw some guys who were just didn't like recruiting. Like it's a huge part of the job, but like a lot of industries, you can get by if you're a great positional coach, a great coordinator, and not a great recruiter, just like you can get by if you're a great recruiter and not necessarily a great X's and O's guy. I do think recruiting's kind of dead. I don't really think it exists anymore. And even Deion Sanders, who was at the Big 12 Media Day, said that, like, look at all the teams in the playoffs and Google how much they were spending on their roster. Kenny Dillingham came out yesterday and said, like, get ready, guys. Texas Tech is going to be really good. So I Googled it. Texas Tech had the number 2 transfer portal recruiting class, ahead of teams like Miami and Oregon, who are clearly spending a lot of coin. They have this guy named Cody Campbell. I had to Google him. I knew about the guy. I didn't know his name. He played there. He's now a billionaire, and he's financing their program. Their team wasn't bad last year. They have a chance to be really good this year. Not because Joey McGuire, who Deion actually like loves, is some dynamic recruiter. It's because they have a lot of money. And I'm not talking shit about any coaches. But whenever I see, it's like, God, did a great job recruiting. The only thing that matters now is like, what are you offering the guy? Now, if both offers are $500,000, he likes you more, for sure. It's like, okay, your relationship, your personality, you resonating with his mom, dad, high school coach, whatever matters. But if you say, well, I was offering $600,000 and the other team was offering $350,000, of course you landed him. Like, welcome to America. So when I see it's like, God, they did a great job recruiting. Bullshit. They just have a bigger check mark. And rightfully so. Like, I listen, I can be an Ohio State hater, but they were great before the money. Now they have a ton of money and they're willing to spend it. Their roster's always going to be good. Why? They spend a lot of it. Oregon, why did they not fall off after NIL started? Because it works to their advantage. That's why everyone's been scratching their head the last couple of years with USC. It's like, I thought you guys have these enormous boosters. Why aren't you spending the money? And people would tell you, well, they've actually spent it on the wrong guys. But it's like, Deion's right. Like, this sport is all about, and this isn't, 2 years ago when Howie landed Saquon Barkley for $27 million guaranteed, it was like, guys, A little risky. Is it going to be good? I remember thinking like, one, that's really not that much money relative to all these. You get guards signing for 50 million. Mike McGlinchey like 3 years ago signed for $50 million guaranteed. He's like a average foot athlete, mid tier right tackle. It's like Saquon Barkley, one of the most talented players in the league. If he does need help, like he needs a good offensive line. But if you have a good offensive line, like that's a fucking steal. But like, who's Howie bidding against, right? In college football, if you do want a player, and it's like a guy like, let's just use Saquon Barkley as an example, the equivalent of that in college football, you're going to have the top 5, 10 teams with all the money bidding for his services. So anyone in business knows the more people you got bidding. My wife's in real estate. It's one thing when you only got one person making an offer on the home. Remember 2020 when interest rates were like 2.5%, 3%? You had a line out the freaking door. So you had 10 offers. It's like, well, they're offering this, and all of a sudden, especially if you lived where I lived in California, it's like, well, they got $300,000 over asking. Well, how do you think they did that? Not based on one person, it's based on 17 people that want the property. And that's what's happening in college football with the transfer portal. So these top guys go in the transfer portal and they have film and everyone wants them. So, because the guy's going to be an immediate starter. And I just think, this is what college football is.